All right, what's going on, everybody? Good morning. Happy Sunday on this beautiful Thanksgiving weekend. Welcome back to NFL Player Props Live. I am your host, Tasos Kilimos, and we are going to break down some player props for the Week 13 NFL slate. We'll give you guys a couple minutes here, as we usually do. First couple, 4 or 5 minutes, kind of get you guys in here. You guys have any initial questions right off the bat, go ahead and sound them off. As always, guys, really awesome to be here and talking NFL player props with you on this beautiful Sunday morning. Now, unlike recent weeks or recent shows, because we kind of been doing like an every other week kind of thing with these live streams, I don't have any picks prepared for you guys, mainly because this is going to be a bit of a shorter stream. I'm planning to stay on it for around 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm going to let you guys have the floor here. You guys send me the player props you want to go ahead and discuss. We'll break them down. We'll add them to the pick slate, so on and so forth. But as for myself personally, I don't have any picks or any picks I have prepared for you guys, so to speak. So this live stream is all you guys. It's your chance to go ahead and fire your questions, your player props, the things you like, the things you don't like, things you want to discuss for this Week 13 NFL slate. This is your live stream, your chance to go ahead and throw them out, and we'll go ahead and outlier and kind of break it all down. Good morning to Kurt Landlonga. Good morning. Like I said, give it like 5 minutes to get everybody in here in the live stream as I kind of get everything set up on my own self for everything here. How you guys doing? How was everybody's Thanksgiving? How was the holiday weekend? How are you guys doing? Let's have a little conversation here. It's been a long week for me. I'll be honest. It's a long week. It was a fun week. It was a great week. It was a great sports week. A lot of great stuff, but definitely a long one. And looking forward to some rest and relaxation today. Eventually, at some point. But it's been a good week. It's been a good holiday. I had a bit of a quiet Thanksgiving myself, which was not bad at all. Nothing wrong with a little quiet. All right. Just getting everything set up here on the YouTube side of things. And like I said, letting people join in the live stream. Any initial questions, conversations you want to have, any controversial debates like last week with Shador Sanders, anything you guys want, go ahead and sound them off right now. We can have a little early discussion as we kind of let people find their way into the live stream here. And again, as I set up everything on the YouTube side of things, let's go ahead and get the thumbnail in here. Let's see. All right, that should be. All right, I think we should be good on the YouTube side of things now. I think we have the thumbnail loaded up. Everything should be good to go. I am going to try and get all the picks written down as we go live here. Let's go ahead and edit that. So this way, because I think, lately we do it after the fact and then I forget some of the player props. So I'm going to start doing it while we pick them. So week 13. All right. All right, I'm all set up on my end now. So YouTube's all good and everything's all good. Perfect. And we'll get to the chat in just a second as like I said, just finish up getting everything loaded here. Outliers ready to rock and roll. And like I said, we'll just get a couple more minutes as we let people find their way into the live stream. And then we'll go ahead and start talking player props and start getting into the nitty gritty here. All right, that's all set. Let's go ahead and over to the live stream and see what we got. All is good in yours. Yeah, had a great week. Just a long week between, obviously I had the pizza shop. Between the pizza shop and then doing videos, I think this live stream is my 16th video of the week, and I still have Monday Night Football picks I'm covering for Ev this week. I have Monday Night Football picks to do after this live stream, so it's 17 videos total this week. If you guys aren't watching it, go ahead and check it out. We have so much great content on the channel right now between NBA, college football, and NFL. College football this week was a lot. Obviously, last week of the regular season. And there's still plenty more to come. Obviously, conference championships next week. So much to do. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and get after it. All right, I'm ready to go. You guys seem ready to go. Like I said, this is your live stream. I don't have any picks kind of pre-prepared for you guys. This is your chance to go ahead and throw your picks in here. We'll break them down. We'll cover them. So let's go ahead and get started here with the first one I saw here. Travis Etienne, 2 touchdowns. Pretty ballsy, if I may say so myself. But you know what? I like that. Let's go ahead and share my screen here, and we will get going with Outlier. All right. So like I said, guys, we're going to be on here till roughly around 10 o'clock. Again, I have somewhere to be, so I have to be consistent with that. So we're going to do as much as we can in the next hour, starting with this one. So let's go ahead and do Travis Etienne. 2 touchdowns. Not just 1 touchdown, but 2 touchdowns. Let's go ahead and see touchdowns. So for 1 touchdown, Novig has it at plus 105. You're saying for him to get 2, which is available for plus 6. My best odds available for me, plus 650 over on FanDuel. So from a value standpoint, really, really solid. He's only done this in 1 game this year. So he's had 1 multi-touchdown game this season. That was, of course, against the Chargers just a couple weeks ago. The data from, and again, it's not going to be really good because a multi-touchdown game is very hard to do in the National Football League. He's only had 1 of those games this year. He had none last year. So he's had 1 multi-touchdown game over the last 2 seasons. Not a great start. Head-to-head against the Titans. This is the first time they're meeting this year, but he had 0 touchdowns in both games last year. So, I mean, I get it from a matchup standpoint. I mean, the Titans give 3.2 touchdowns per game to opposing teams. That is bottom 5 in the league. Versus running backs, bottom 3. They give up 1.4 touchdowns per game to opposing running backs. So it's a very good matchup. So I understand the thought process here. It's a very good matchup. He has scored a touchdown 4 of his last 5 games on the road, too. So good numbers there. But if you look at this Titans' recent performances, I mean, Zach Charbonnet has 1, and then Jonathan Taylor had 3. So we have evidence of a running back going for multiple touchdowns. So it's not like this isn't possible. And obviously, the way the Jaguars' offense looks right now, if you look at the right side of the screen, their passing offense leaves a lot to be desired, but this is a top 10 run team in the NFL. And we look down below, they are above league average in terms of run rate. ETN this season, 169 carries, 52.3% run share. So obviously, as you can see from the pie chart there, he dominates the run share. Red zone rushing attempts, 39. That's a 50.6% red zone run share. And then red zone targets, he also can kind of be used in the passing game, although we haven't really seen anything. He doesn't have a single red zone target this year. And targets in general, let's see, is he that involved in the passing game? No. Does he not have a single target all season? Oh no, there he is right there. I was gonna say he definitely is using the passing game in some amount. He's got 37 targets, so you could get one either way. I'm gonna do this for sure. I'm definitely adding his anytime touchdown to our play sheet right off the bat. Plus 105. You're still getting plus money. He's definitely scoring a touchdown in this game, I think. So we'll go ahead and add that to the play sheet. That's a definite. And I'm going to put a full unit on that one. We could maybe put a little sprinkle on the 2 touchdown play. I think we could go a full unit anytime touchdown. And someone in the chat, I'm looking at the chat while we record here, trying to see what you guys are saying. And someone did just say Tootin has taken touches from ETN. So we can go ahead and look at the last couple games, and we can see what the run share looks like. So we have to switch categories here to look at that. But just want to make sure you guys know we're not picking rushing yards, although that's also not a bad bet. Looking down below here at the run share the last couple games. All right, so run share. He still had a 45% run share. This is last year versus the Titans, excuse me. Apologies for that. Let's go to the last 5 games. Let's see. All right, run share. 54%. He had 15 carries, so he still had the majority of the carries here in that Cardinals game. 40% versus the Chargers. 59%, 52%, 42%. He's still got at least 40% run share in each of the last 5. He's averaging 16 carries per game. The Rams game being the one drop off, but they were getting blown out in that one. So pretty good. The one thing we'll obviously look at here is the red zone run share, which I guess would be the only other factor in play. So we'll look at the red zone run share. All right, this is for targets. Let's look at rushing share. And I mean, they had 4 red zone rushing attempts versus the Cardinals. He had 2 of them. 60, 67, 40, 33. I don't think, I mean, I know that too, and if you look down below here, obviously he has 67 carries, a 20.7% run share. He is taking some carries, but for the most part, ETN is still getting the majority of the work. He's still getting a healthy amount of work. He's averaged, red zone rushing attempts. He's averaging 5.2 over the last 5. Last week they only had 4 red zone carries and they split them, which, again, you're not completely wrong. He is taking some carries away from ETN, but I still think ETN gets enough work. So I think in this spot, like I said, we're going to go with what I said. I think in this spot, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take ETN anytime touchdown, which is plus 105, and we'll put a full unit on that one. So we're adding that into the play sheet. All right, Travis ETN. All right, anytime touchdown. Anytime touchdowns, we add it into our play sheet. This play sheet I have written down will be posted for you guys at the end of the live stream. So that'll be the chance for you guys to go ahead and tail all these plays. That's plus 105 over on Novig. And we're going to put a full unit on that one. Okay, so that's already locked in, okay, on our play sheet. And then the original pick, the reason why we're talking about this is someone recommended him as a 2-touchdown player prop in this spot, which I really don't hate this spot. Okay, I really don't. It's just, from a value standpoint, it's too good to pass up, but putting a full unit, probably not to play. It's kind of a ladder situation here where I'm going to take it. I'll take over 1.5, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put maybe like a quarter of a unit on this one. So we'll put Travis Etienne over 1.5 touchdowns, okay, which is plus 650 over on FanDuel as I write this down. I apologize as I'm kind of explaining my typing to you guys. And we're going to put a quarter of a unit on that play. So what that means for the people who are unfamiliar with like how the units work, a quarter of a unit basically is if your unit's $100, let's say, right? You're $100 for one unit. A quarter of a unit means you're putting $25 on that play. If your unit is $10, okay, you're putting $2.50 on that play, and so on and so forth. If your unit's $1,000, you're putting $250 on that play. So I'm putting a quarter of a unit on that Travis Etienne over 1.5 touchdown prop. So I like it. I like where your head was at. It is a good matchup. And we did see Jonathan Taylor, not too long ago, have 3 touchdowns. Now, Taylor's obviously much better than Etienne, but Etienne, the way he's been playing lately, I think it's a good play. So we're taking Etienne anytime touchdown for 1 unit and Etienne over 1.5 touchdowns for a quarter of a unit. Both are locked in on our play sheet. Really solid start. Let me go ahead and give the flowers to the guy who did give us that play here. Beg Burrow steal. Or Beg Burrow steal. Beg Burrow steal. Good play. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Let's go ahead and see what else we got here. Neal, the over rushing yards from the Saints look good today. All right, we can go ahead and take a look at that. All right, let's go ahead and see. Neal. Am I missing something here? Let's just go to the Saints game. All right, Saints. Let's just go ahead and look over here at the... Who are you talking about? Oh, Devin Neal. I was like, who's Evan Neal? Devin Neal. And you said over in rushing yards. Let's see. Where's rushing yards? Right here. All right. His line is set over 39.5. Can we find a better one? 38.5 here. 1 yard shorter. That's only a BetMGM. Anything else? No. It looks like the 39.5 is our best play. So 39.5. Minus 132 on FanDuel, so a little juice, but not bad. Kamara obviously is out. And, he is, as you can see, the outlier is telling you directly, he's expected to fill in as the lead back this Sunday and perhaps beyond those Saints. Yeah. So the point being, he's from this point forward, he's going to be the lead back in this offense. The problem I have with this one is that, first and foremost, we haven't really seen much from him this year. If you scroll down below, at the rushing numbers here, he's Kendra Miller. I mean, he's only ran the ball 17 times this season. And I know they say he's going to be the lead back, which means obviously he's going to get a lot of work in this game, but 17, we have nothing really to go off of here. I have no idea what he's capable of. I have no idea what he brings to the table. He's averaging 3 carries per game. He had 7 carries versus Atlanta. I guess the Atlanta game would be the best one. He had 7 carries for 18 yards against the Falcons. 2.6 yards per carry. Now, overall, the Dolphins obviously a very good matchup, 29th versus running backs 28th. So I understand the thought process of like this is a really bad Dolphins run defense. If we look at past running backs against the Dolphins, Chris Rodriguez had 79, James Cook 53, Derrick Henry 119, Bijan only at 25. And I mean, like I said, James Cook, I mean, the line's low. He needs what, 40 yards? 40 yards and he cashes the over, which really isn't that much. And the line is obviously low because of the fact that he's done really nothing this year. I don't know. What do you guys think on this one? I personally, I get the spot. I understand the matchup, but I just get nervous here. The Dolphins have been playing a little bit better, and I do question how effective he's going to be in this game. Again, the line's very low. He only needs 40 yards, and he cashes the over. So I understand the thought process. I understand why it's a good spot to look at. But I don't think I'm going to add to my play sheet for now. I think we're going to put a pin in that, and we'll kind of revisit that later on in the video. Let's see what else we got here. Jaylen Warren, higher than 64.5 rushing yards. I can tell you right off the bat here, I'm probably going to like this one because I know the Bills' run defense is not all that good. So let's get out of this one. And again, we might come back to this one. We might come back and revisit that one. Let's see. Jaylen Warren. And I saw him say 64.5. Let's go ahead and find that line. Scrolling over here, 64.5 rushing yards. And we can actually do a little bit better. We'll take it at 63.5. And actually, you could even maybe go up a little higher. Yeah. We'll take it at 60. And we can go a little higher. So you recommended 64.5. I can take it at 59.5 for minus 120 on FanDuel. And it's still, minus 140 DraftKings. So if you have DraftKings, you can just literally go up 1 yard and go to 60.5. And you'll get it, minus 112. So it's, to me, that extra yard, I'll just take it as an insurance play. So over 59.5 rushing yards. All right. Minus 120 over on FanDuel. He's cashed this in 5 of his last 6 games, which is pretty good. If we narrow this down to just the last 5, 4 of his last 5, he's averaging almost 60 yards per game, 58.6. That Colts game definitely brought his average down, but he's gotten at least 60 yards in 4 of the last 5 games. Looking down below the run share, he is by far the number 1 running back, 53.2% run share, which obviously is very good. We'd like to see that. They're about right at league average / slightly below league average, right at that line in terms of a run versus pass team. So, I mean, he's averaging 14 carries per game over his last 5. He had 18 carries versus the Bears. I don't know what the Aaron Rodgers situation is looking like right now. Let me go ahead and look at that and just see if he's playing for sure or not. Whoops. Let's see. Who do we have? I mean, I don't see Rodgers on the report, so I think Rodgers is probably back in this game, but obviously he's not 100%. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see Rodgers, so I think Rodgers is back. I don't think it's gonna. I think he's still banged up. I think Jaylen Warren should have a good game. I know, obviously, the matchup, like I said, the Bills' run defense, the 3rd worst in terms of rushing yards allowed to running back. So this is a very bad run defense. Jaylen Warren, who's been pretty good for the most part this year. You look at the last couple of games. I mean, Woody Marks for the Texans had 74. Sean Tucker had 106 for the Bucs. Rashad White even had 51. 2 running backs had 50 or more yards. A-Chain had 174. 49 for Kareem Hunt, so on and so forth. So, yeah, and I think the Steelers in this spot, especially because of the fact that Aaron Rodgers is probably not playing at 100%, I think they probably would like to lean into the running game a little bit more in this game. And in general this year, I think they wanted to be a little bit more of a running team than a passing team. So, I don't hate this spot. We'll add to the play sheet. So, Jaylen Warren over 59.5 rushing yards, and we are grabbing that for minus 120 over on FanDuel as I go ahead and plug this in to our play sheet. And then we'll go ahead and check the chat and see what you guys are saying. Any other plays you want to recommend? So, minus 120 on FanDuel. And we'll go ahead and put a full unit on that play. All right. Let's check out the chat here. All right. Let's see. Tyjae Spears, 20-plus receiving yards. Josh Allen, 5 rushing attempts. Jaylen Warren, longest rush over 13. Had 2.5 total field goals made. How do you feel about those early lock-ins? So you're betting a lot of stuff that like I don't really like. I am a firm believer, and I know Ev, if you watch HH, which if you haven't, you can go check the video out. It's out on the channel. I don't love the longest run plays because those are a lot of those have to do with luck. It has to do with luck. It has to do with individual. I don't love those. So I can tell you right now, I don't love longest rush props. Also, the 2.5 total field. Like you're picking kicker props, longest rush, and quarterback running attempts. The only one of those three that I really like a lot. Oh, that's 2.5 total field goals made from both teams. All right, I don't hate that then. That's not terrible. I don't hate that. And I like the Josh Allen 5 carries play because that's a good one. But besides that, the Jalen Warren longest run, you could probably take that one out. But those other two, 2.5 field goals made, and then Josh Allen 5 carries, don't hate that at all. Michael Wilson over 59.5 receiving yards from LaRon Ferguson. What's going on, LaRon? I actually got a lot of heat for this one I think it was the HGH video. Someone really came for my neck in that video because in that video, I want to say, did Ev take a Cardinals prop where he took the Cardinals straight up in the spread? I forget exactly what he took. It was something related to that Cardinals game against the Bucks. And I made the comment because Marvin Harrison, I believe, is out. And we'll go ahead and, as we talk, kind of multitask here and get Michael Wilson on here. I made the comment and was like, oh, they don't really, without Marvin Harrison, they don't really have a viable receiver option. And somebody came right out and was like, this guy's an idiot. I can't listen to him. It's clear he doesn't do his homework. Like, how the hell can you go ahead and say, and not LaRon, it wasn't LaRon, but it was somebody was like, I can't listen to this guy. This guy's an idiot, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't do his research. It's very clear. He doesn't even watch football. He doesn't even watch the games because Michael Wilson has been balling lately. And, first of all, calm down, whoever that guy was. Second of all, yes, Michael Wilson has been playing very well lately. The last couple of games, as you can see, 118 yards versus the Jags, 185 versus the Niners. But you tell me, is Michael Wilson a household name at wide receiver? And besides Michael Wilson, this wide receiver room is hot garbage. Greg Dortch, Zay Jones, Xavier Weaver, Andre Bakelia. Okay, my point was that without Marvin Harrison, this wide receiver room looks pretty thin. And although Michael Wilson's playing well, I would not call him a household name, although he has been playing well the last couple of weeks. So that's just a little I saw that comment the other day, and I was like, that's crazy to say I don't watch ball. That's nuts. But anyways, had to go ahead and vent there. So this is plus money. 59.5 is plus money. And it is a good matchup. Okay, let me go ahead and check to see if Marvin Harrison's still out, because that'll obviously be a big factor here. If he's back, I don't know how as they throw to him as much. So let's see. Zay Jones is also out, by the way. All their wide receivers. Marvin Harrison, so he is he is questionable. He had his appendix out. Appendectomy. He was able to return to practice. All right, so it's unclear, even as of this morning, if he's going to play or not. So that makes more sense why the line is at plus money. If we go ahead and just put a filter here and show with Marvin Harrison. All right. This year, when Marvin Harrison plays, Michael Wilson has cashed this line in just one of his 10 games. Now, to be fair, coming off the last 2 games, maybe Arizona changes. Maybe their offense changes. Maybe Jacoby Brissett, he's found a weapon they like. Maybe he'll get more targets. But I don't know. There's a lot of what-ifs there. You look at his receptions, targets per game. He's averaging 2.6 receptions per game when Marvin Harrison plays, with 4.4 targets per game. That's an 11% target share on average when Marvin Harrison plays. Now, when he doesn't play, and we can go ahead and put that in there just to see, when Marvin Harrison does not play, excuse me, 100% hit rate, averaging 151 yards per game. He goes up to 16 targets and 12 receptions on average, with a 16.5 target, which is a 29% target share. So obviously, his workload takes an exponential increase when Marvin Harrison does not play. They just chuck it to him. Now, the problem is that Trey McBride is number 1. Okay, McBride gets a lot of work, and then when Marvin Harrison does play, he is number 1 at wide receiver. So when they do throw the football, Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison, typically speaking, are the top 2. Now, again, coming off of what's happened the last couple weeks, maybe Michael Wilson, even with Marvin Harrison's return, maybe the Cardinals look to Michael Wilson more than they did before. Maybe he gets more than 4 targets per game on average than he did before. But, again, you have to go ahead and note that when Marvin Harrison has played this season, and we'll put that up there for you guys one more time. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and see. Clear my throat. That's the fatigue of doing 17 videos in a week. Is just my vocal cords are shot. And again, that's what you get when he does play. So the question becomes, what do we do here? Do we take it? Do we not take it? Do we run away in fear of Marvin Harrison? Or do we just go ahead and take it for plus money for a guy who's averaging 100 and how much was the last 5 games? Last couple games, like 150 yards over the last 2. Can we go lower is the question. Can we get it a little lower? So you can go 54.5, which is minus 109. Still good value. The numbers still don't change, but it's a little bit more of a gettable line. So here's what I'm going to do, because I do think it's a good matchup. And I think as I go over to the... Yeah, if Harrison plays, Wilson over receiving yards is not a lock. I agree. Like, as you can see from the data, it's not very good. But this point also, right, from Kevin, Jacoby just going to air it out anyway because their run game is non-existent. Harrison, a non-factored zero, he needs a dip. Okay. I've also been very critical of Marvin Harrison, so I kind of see where you're coming from there. Wilson do more because DBL McBride, because double McBride, and even better of Harrison there. That's my kind of thought process, is that he was so good the last couple games. I don't know if Marvin Harrison comes, it's not like Marvin Harrison is Justin Jefferson, where if he comes back, it's like, oh my God, Jay Jettis is back. Everyone clear out because Jefferson's back. I don't think it's the same thing. Marvin Harrison, although he was number 1 in targets, he was not exactly a super weapon. He's supposed to be. So I think in that position, I think I'm going to still take his yards. I'm not going to take the 59.5, which was the plus money play, which is still not a terrible look. I'm going to take his over 54.5. We'll add to the play sheet, which is minus 109 over on Novig. We'll add it to the play sheet. But I'm not going to put a full unit. We're going to put 3/4 of a unit. As I mentioned earlier, if some people weren't here, what that means is that if your unit is, let's say, $100, okay, each unit you place, each bet you make is $100. That's your unit, right? If your unit's $100, 3/4 of a unit, pretty simple math, means you're putting $75 on this play, not the full 100. If your units are $10, then you're putting $7.50, and you can kind of do the math from that point on. But we will add it to the play. Over 54.5 receiving yards. I'm banking on him possibly getting more looks in this offense after the last couple weeks. So we're going to go ahead and take that. And Laurent's got another suggestion. Nope. As I just said, I don't like the longest run props. I understand the thought process. I know there's some good data there, but nope. I don't love longest rush props. I think they're gimmicky. They're very gimmicky. They're very, like, he could have 100 rushing yards in that game and not run a single run for 19 yards. Like, it's too gimmicky. I'll go ahead and pass on that. McCaffrey, over in receiving yards. Niners are playing the Browns today. We can go ahead and check that one out. By the way, guys, if you haven't, subscribed to the channel and make sure to check out the Fade Me store. We are offering a special promotion now through December 2nd. Up to 50% off all apparel over at the Fade Me store. And the link is down below in the description if you want to go ahead and check that out. Make sure to go ahead and take advantage of that offer. Like I said, we're offering on hats, hoodies, shirts, shorts, you name it. We got it up to 50% off now through December 2nd. So make sure to go ahead and check that out. So McCaffrey over receiving yards, and we'll go ahead and adjust this because this is plus money. We'll bring it down a little bit to, let's say, 37.5, which is minus 112 over on FanDuel. Not bad. And if you have DraftKings, adjust it slightly and you can find it. You know, even if you take 39.5, not bad. Wow. So 10 straight games, he's cashed that over of 37.5. He's averaging 66 receiving yards per game this season. So really phenomenal data. Even look at the overall numbers. 12 of 12. This is not an alternate line either, guys. This is minus 112. I won 100% hit rate this season. He's averaging 65.42 receiving yards per game. So really good data here. Here is where the problem gets a bit dicey. Receiving yards allowed, the Browns are top 5 versus running backs 15th. So actually, Not a terrible matchup spot. Although Cleveland's defense is very good, not a terrible match. This is also a very good potential dump down spot for Brock Purdy. I do apologize. I'm going to take a water break here just a second. Like I said, guys, 16. This is my 16th video this week. The vocal cords are shot. So I do apologize. I'm clearing my throat and taking water breaks throughout the stream. So it's not a bad matchup. The Browns do bring a lot of pressure, obviously, and the Niners' offensive line has been, let's look at the numbers. It's been pretty good, actually. Top 10. They don't give a lot of sacks. They are 15th in QB hits, which is middle of the road, 15th in QB hurry. So they're an average offensive line. Not a great offensive line, but a decent one. But you are facing off this Browns pass rush, which is top 5 in sacks per game, top 5 in QB hits. So Brock Purdy could be pressured, and that could lead to him dumping it down to McCaffrey a little bit more often. As we said, the numbers all look pretty good here. He is number 1 in targets also. He is the number 1 wide receiver, excuse me, on this Niners team. 103 targets, a 25.4% target share. They're about league average in terms of pass run rate. They're right in the middle there. Let's look at target share. So, pretty good. He's averaging, again, like I said, 23% target share. Actual targets, he's averaging about 8.6 targets per game and almost 7 receptions per game. So, really good numbers. A lot of work, a lot of targets. He's averaging 10 yards per reception, which is pretty good. Let's go ahead and see. Oh, wow. Look at that. Ashton Jeanty had 58 receiving yards. Keaton Mitchell had 23. Henry had 19. Breece Hall had 42. All right, you see the last 3 games, running backs have had a pretty good job catching the ball against the Browns. I'm going to go ahead and lock this one in. So McCaffrey over 37.5 receiving yards. McCaffrey, he's just getting way too much work in this offense to not go ahead and tail him in the spot. When we've seen guys like Ashton Jeanty and what were the other names that we said? Ashton Jeanty. Keaton Mitchell at 23, the backup running back for the Ravens. Breece Hall at 42. So pretty good numbers here. Breece Hall can get 42. McCaffrey can definitely get 38. Could definitely get 38. So over 37.5. Receiving yards, again, make sure you know it's receiving yards. I'm sure rushing yards would probably be like minus 5,000. So you probably know the difference. Minus 112 over on FanDuel. And we'll go ahead and put a full unit on this play. All right, so far we have 5 plays in the live stream. And again, these plays will all be posted after the live stream. We got about half an hour roughly left before we end off here. So we got ETN anytime touchdown. We got ETN over 1.5 touchdowns. We have Jaylen Warren over 59.5 rushing yards. We have Michael Wilson over 54.5 receiving yards. And Christian McCaffrey over 37.5 receiving yards. So those are our 5 plays so far. Let's see if we can't get any more. I already see this one. Let's go ahead. We got a lot of chats actually to catch up with. Christian Kirk, Jaden Higgins receiving yards. Sauce going to be Nico all day. We can look at that in a second. Why not target Brissett? Oh, you mean for like passing yards, something like that? We could take a look. I mean, the Bucs pass defense is pretty bad, so I don't hate that spot. This Waddle, Olave, 8-chain, a little parlay there. Saints Dolphins game. Yeah, we can take, like I said, all these we can kind of take a look at. Brown game is predicted 40-mile-per-hour winds on ESPN run. Purdy struggles versus Cleveland around this time of the cold. That's why the lines are bakey. I do like, I know we had a lot of plays we're throwing my way, and I'm going to try to get to all of them. I think Purdy interception is not a bad spot. Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. I don't think that's bad at all. And then we'll kind of go through backwards and go through all these other plays I see. Brock Purdy, over half an interception. Let's go ahead and find it in here. And I do apologize, guys. I can't obviously get to every single play because a lot of you guys are in here, so I do appreciate the support. I'm going to try to get to as many of these picks as I can in the time we have. Yeah, holy shit. I knew he was struggling, but I didn't know it was this bad. He threw 3 picks versus Carolina. So far this year, so last 10, 7 of his last 10, he's averaging 1.2. This year, he's cashed in 3 or 4 games. He's averaging almost 2 picks per game. And the Browns are top 10 in interceptions forced. You go down here to past matchups here. Lamar threw 2. Fields threw 1. Drake May threw 1. Geno Smith how the hell did Geno Smith not throw 1 of all quarterbacks? That's crazy. He was minus 234 to throw an interception. He didn't throw 1. Crazy. Yeah, we'll take it. The pressure rate's going to be high. This defense is going to get to him. He's been throwing picks left and right. 1 pick for minus 119 we're throwing that in there. So that's our another play. So we'll put that in there too. So Brock Purdy, good call. Good call, guys. Brock Purdy, over half an interception. And we're grabbing that for minus 119 on Novig. And we'll put a unit on that. That's a good call out. And especially, like you said, you guys have the weather stuff also in there. And I'm going to go over to the dashboard real quick just to look at something here. Yeah, Brock Purdy versus pressure. The Browns bring the second most pressure, highest frequency of pressure, say, in the NFL. And you do see his numbers are not very good versus pressure. Completion percentage drops, everything drops. So that's a good one. I like that. Really good spot. Shout out to I Never Miss. You didn't miss on this one. And also shout out to Amanda Hukistigen. Amanda Hug and Kiss DeGen. Good call out. And also I'll also give credit to Kevin Heath, who also kind of said like this game is going to be rough for Brock Purdy. So I'll give you guys all your flowers. Let's see what else I missed before that. I saw Christian Kirk and Jaden Higgins, so we can take a look at that. I don't hate that one because obviously the Colts pass defense beyond Sauce Gardner isn't great. We'll start with Higgins because I'd rather go with the younger guy. Pause, I guess. That wasn't really great wording on my part. Let's go ahead and see. Receiving yards. Okay. So I want to look at targets here. He is above of Christian Kirk, which is what I thought. So we're going to lean Higgins. Obviously, Sauce Gardner's going to have his hands full with Nico Collins. And Higgins has been playing better lately. So 42 yards versus the Jaguars, 55 yards versus the Titans. He just missed it with 38 yards versus the Bills. Overall this year, the Colts 28th in the NFL in receiving yards allowed per game, 26th versus wide receiver. So it is a good matchup on paper. I do want to look at the last couple games, though, because obviously this is where they get Sauce Gardner. So Rashee Rice had 141. Xavier Worthy had 59. Drake London had 104. And these are all the games with Sauce Gardner. He's played 2 games so far. So you had 2 receivers on the Chiefs who had big days. And then on the Falcons one, it was Drake London and nobody else. Let's see what the last 5 games look like for targets. So he's averaging 6.4 targets. The last 3 games, though, he's had at least 7 targets each of the last 3. 4 catches, 5 catches. Okay, so he's averaging, around 4 catches per game last couple games. I'm just nervous because the thing is, if we go ahead and put this in here, zero. With CJ Stroud playing, it's a 0, and he's averaging 19.88 receiving yards per game. That was Davis Mills. That was Davis Mills throwing to him. And I genuinely get nervous with that because I don't want to be one of those guys who's out here and going, oh, Davis Mills is a better quarterback for the Texans than CJ Stroud. I don't really believe that, right? I know, not stupid. CJ Stroud, I think, is a better quarterback, but I don't know. I mean, the numbers with CJ this year have been awful. And granted, some of the reason why he's been better the last couple games, Davis Mills is throwing to him more than he was getting thrown to with CJ. When CJ Stroud was playing, he's only averaging like 3 targets per game. He had 1 game with more than 5 targets with CJ. Now, he's naturally getting better as time goes on. He's a rookie, obviously. He's getting more comfortable. So the play calling has leaned towards him more. So hopefully with CJ Stroud, that doesn't change. But it's not always just the play callers. In the NFL, sometimes it's about who the quarterback has chemistry with, who the quarterback has trust with. It's the reason why when sometimes you see a backup come in, certain receivers will get more work than others because it's all about who the quarterback has chemistry with, where the rhythm is in the game. So the one fear I have here is that CJ Stroud this year has not really been, targeting Higgins all that much. With his return, is he going to throw it to him as much as Davis Mills did? It's a good question. Now, it is a good matchup. I don't hate it, but I have some concerns there because like I said, this Houston team is not that reliable offensively this year. What do you guys think? I don't know. This is a tough one. It's a tough spot. I don't know because, like I said, this Texans offense has been so weird this year. and they looked pretty good with Davis Mills, but with Stroud coming back, I just don't know. With C.J. Stroud this year, this Texans offense has been very underwhelming. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm going to pass. And I might regret passing later on. I'm going to be watching this game and going, damn, they were right. Should have taken Higgins, but I think I'm going to pass. I don't want really that much to do with this Texans team for right now. So we're going to pass on that one. All right, JT under 20.5 rushing attempts. Sticking with the Texans-Colts game. Jonathan Taylor. We'll look at rushing attempts here. Attempts. And we're going to go under 20.5, which is only on BetMGM. So not really a lot of... if we go 19.5, it's available on FanDuel, Novig, a couple better other places, but I'm going to pass on this one just because it's not available in enough sports books. So I'm going to pass on that one. Good, not a bad play, though. I don't hate it. Let's see. Judkins, 71.5 rushing yards. He wants to look if we should fade that one. Let's go ahead and look at that. Judkins is the Niners. Let's see. So rushing yards, his line is at 71. We can get it at 69. So we can go ahead and look at the 71.5, which is only on Prize Picks, believe it or not. The under, at least, is only on Prize Picks. So if we fade Judkins, you either have to look at the under 68.5 line, 69.5 line, these ones. You have to look at over either there, or you got to go higher for alternate line, only available on Kalshi. So Niners, very good run defense versus running backs, 12th. He has gone under 4 straight games. And you look at the last running backs, like Rico Dowdle at 38, Hubbard 16. You haven't really seen a running back go crazy. The last big performance was Kyron Williams at 73. Besides that, though, dating back to October 26th, so the last month, the only running back, to get 69 or more yards is Kyron Williams. The Niners have a pretty good run defense. But Jerome Ford is not healthy. But Dylan Sampson obviously would get a little more work there. The problem I have here is that I think they might want to. I don't know how much. Like last week when you're playing the Raiders, very different circumstances. You can give Shador more of the green light to throw. When you're playing the Niners, I don't know how. I think the training wheels are going to be on very tight for him in that game. He's averaging 17 carries per game. Last couple games, 16, 17, 22. He's getting a lot of work. What do you guys think? We fade this? Do we fade this one? I don't know. What do we do here, guys? So we fade Quinshawn Judkins here against the Niners. I mean, the data's really good. The data's very good. Like I said, no running back. Only Kyron Williams, and he barely cashed that line. And they got a way better offensive line, way better offense in general. We'll take the under. Screw it. Minus 112 on FanDuel. Quinshawn Judkins. I might put 3/4 of a unit on this one. I don't know if it's a full unit play. Minus 112 on FanDuel. Because that's a bit dicey because he's going to get a lot of work in this game. But we'll put 3/4 of a unit. We'll take it. They might be forced to run a lot. Yeah, so I'll take it. I'm going to put 3/4 of a unit on there. All right. Let's see what else we got. Herbert. I've seen this one a few times. Herbert over 15.5 rushing yards. All right. We can go ahead and look at that. Okay. Justin Herbert. Let me know down below because we are running a little close on time here. I never miss. He's loving that Judkins underplay. He loves it. Loves it. We're riding with it, brother. We're riding with it. Let me know down below. We're running a little bit low on time now because we've been on for over 45 minutes. I got to get off around 10. Do we want to stick with this and just keep doing like our general player props, or do you want to build an anytime touchdown player prop to close out the video over the final 10 minutes? So I'm going to do this Herbert prop, and then it's up to you guys. Do you want to do a touchdown parlay, Or do you want to do just more of this for the last 10, 15 minutes and we just keep going through the player props? You guys let me know down below what you think. As I kind of break down this, I'll give you guys a couple minutes as we break down this Herbert prop. You guys let me know. Do you want to do a touchdown parlay, or do you want to kind of keep doing this where you just give player props, and I'll let you know if you like them or not. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think in the live chat. All right, let's see. Where's his rushing yards? Rushing yards. So you said 15.5, which is only on BetMGM and Hard Rock Bet. I like to be a little bit more open because I want people to be able to tail this. 17.5, DraftKings. 18.5. Yeah, 18.5 has more. And he's still cashed that. Like you said, he's been pretty good. He's averaging 31.3. If we narrow down the last 5 games, he's cashed in 5 straight. He's averaging 38 rushing yards per game. If we look at the carries, averaging 6 carries per game, but it has been descending a little bit last few. And head-to-head, he's cashed in 2 of the last 3 against the Raiders, including the one this year. He had 31 rushing yards against the Raiders. He had 9 carries in that game. He's exceeded 18.5 rushing yards 6 of the last 7 games at home. So a lot of good numbers supporting this one. Rushing yards allowed. The Raiders actually have a pretty decent run defense, 13th versus quarterbacks. They're top 10. Now, he has cashed in 2 of the last 3, so he's had success against the Raiders. In terms of run share, he's 3rd, 54 rushes in the red zone. He's got 10, so pretty good amount of work. The problem is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Omari Hampton's back. No, he's out. Omari Hampton is out. Okay. So that obviously will help Herbert because now he still doesn't have that running back to compete with. I'm gonna say fade this one. I'm not loving this one. I'm gonna be honest. Like the data is very good, and if you want to sprinkle a little something on it, I don't mind that. Personally, I'm going to avoid this just because the Raiders do, if we look at the last couple games, and this will kind of be the deciding factor, I guess. Now, Trevor Lawrence had 24 rushing yards. Bo Nix had -2. Dak had -4. And Shador had -1. I mean, Trevor Lawrence having 24 is kind of crazy, but he does run a lot. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I like it and I don't. Like I understand the thought process. The numbers have been pretty good. The data across the board is pretty good. And with Omari Hampton being out, obviously I think Herbert will have to run around a little bit more. Oh, they still have Max Crosby's out. You know what? I actually kind of like it because if you think about it, their offensive line is still banged up to all hell. Max Crosby's gonna put pressure on Herbert in this game. What was let's see, line? I can go 17.5. He's done it in almost every game this year except for the Broncos game, the Dolphins game. Every other game he's cashed this line. And you know what? We're going to take it. Screw it. Over 17.5 rushing yards, -160 on DraftKings. Again, if you don't have DraftKings or BetRivers or Underdog, you can adjust it slightly to 15.5. They have it on BetMGM. They also have it on Hard Rock. So we'll put Justin Herbert over. I'll take it at 17.5. Because I don't have, I have BetMGM, but I wanted to make sure it's fair for you guys. So over 17.5 rushing yards, which is -1. What was that again? -1. Go back to 17.5 here. -116 on DraftKings. So we'll go ahead and rock with that. Again, I think from a game script perspective, they should be able to put pressure on this weak offensive line, and then Herbert's going to have to take off and scramble a little bit. So I don't mind that play. The only problem I have, well, I have a few problems with it, but the biggest problem I have is the fact, and I hope you guys can't hear my stomach growling. I do apologize if you can. I have not had breakfast yet. The biggest problem is if this game's a blowout, how much they're going to have Herbert running around here. And they're just absolutely smoking the Raiders in this game. So that would be my biggest concern, but it's all right. We'll go ahead and take it. All right, so let's see. What did you guys think? Anytime touchdown parlay, or did you want... all right, I see a lot of... Okay, let's see. We got anytime touchdown parlay, props. So let's see. Let's count on the fingers. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7. Oh, that was awful. 7, 8. All right, it looks like you guys want the touchdown lay. So let's go ahead and do touchdown. All right. So here we go. We got 10 minutes, guys. I'm setting the clock right now. We're setting the rules. You guys got 10 minutes. I want 3 legs. I want 3 legs, 3-leg touchdown player prop parlay. Go. Fire away. Start throwing everything my way right now. Pause. Go ahead and just do it. Just send all the touchdown props you like. I'm going to give you guys like a minute so I don't have to keep going back and forth. Just go ahead. I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm going to chill for a second. You guys go ahead and flub the chat with touchdown props. What are the odds I make this in my recycling bin I have here in the room? Let's see. What are the odds? Minus. I'm going to set it. It's a little bit. I have nothing in the bottle. It's completely empty. I'm going to say minus 110. Minus 105. You know, let's see. Long shot. All right. I can't put the camera to show you guys how far away it is. It's probably about 5 feet away. It's like a 5-foot distance. Let's go ahead and see. Oh, around the rim. Shit, that was a miss. Around the rim. That's why I stopped playing basketball a while ago. I was a good big man, though. Used to be back in the day. Used to be a good power forward. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got. I see a lot of Gadsden for the Chargers. We can take a look at that first. All right, Gadsden. I'm not spelling the name right, am I? All right, let's just do this. We'll go over the Chargers. Where are the Chargers? There they are. We'll just start there because I don't even want to attempt to spell his name. All right, first and foremost, let's do touchdowns. Make this a little easier for me. And we're going overs here for touchdowns. All right. There he is. Gadsden. It's D first and then the S. Gotcha. Oronde Gadsden, the tight end for the Chargers. Pretty good value. We have to make sure whatever we take here, we're sticking with that sports book. So it's FanDuel. I don't see DraftKings on here, but it should be there. Let's see. 2025, he's cashed in 2 games this year versus tight ends. Raiders, top 10 defense in terms of touchdowns, a lot of tight ends. So not that great of a matchup. And as you can see, Jake Ferguson had 1. He's the only tight end since in the month of November to score a touchdown against this Raiders defense. In terms of overall targets, he's 4th on the team. Red zone targets, he is 2nd, but Keenan Allen is 1. Let's look at, I did see someone say Keenan Allen, so let's look at Keenan Allen here. Anytime touchdown, his a lot better value. The Raiders 26th in touchdowns led to wide receivers. Head-to-head, the last time he played the Chargers, the Raiders earlier this year, he had a touchdown, so he already cashed it once this year. Now, he hasn't got a touchdown in 7 of his last 8 games, so if you narrow this down, you know, he had a very strong start, and he hasn't got many touchdowns since. But he is number 1 in targets, not by too much. You know, McConkey's right behind him, but red zone targets, he's number 1. 12 red zone targets. Let's look at the last couple games. And you can see he's not getting too much work in the red zone of late. Just 1 red zone target over the last 4 games. So, to be fair, they're not getting a lot of red zone targets in general, but not getting as much work. But it is a good matchup. We'll put a pin in this one because I don't hate this one because the Raiders are obviously not a good pass defense. We'll put a pin in that. God, there's so many props in here. Okay. I apologize if I don't get to everybody. I'm going to do my best to go through and find the ones I want to take a look at. Let's see what else we got. Let's find one. I don't mind A-Chain, but A-Chain, the problem with A-Chain is I guarantee you his line is going to be crazy. So let's clear this out. A-Chain's line is going to be like minus 190. Yeah, exactly. What did I say? Actually, well, Novig's minus 129, minus 140 on DraftKings. So actually, it's not terrible. I thought it was going to be worse than that. Minus 120. If we use Novig minus 129, which isn't awful, the Saints. But the thing is, the Saints, they're not a great run defense, but they don't give up a lot of touchdowns to running backs. 15th. Rigo Dowdle had 1. Kyron Williams had 1. Sean Tucker had 1. So, again, not a bad spot, but I think we can find better. For the value, I think we can find better. So, let's move on from that one, and we'll come back to it. Keenan Allen. People like to see they like the Keenan Allen one. We'll take a look at the Keenan Allen one again. Like I said, we put a pin in that one for now. HN, we already have ETN as a straight bet. So do we want to go ahead and put it again as a part of the parlay? Kind of double down on ETN. I don't mind it. I mean, that he's got a really good matchup on his hands. Jefferson, James Cook. I do think James Cook is in a bad spot. Let's look at that. James Cook. All right. James Cook, again, from a value standpoint, it's not great. Although, actually not bad. Still plus money. But the Steelers are not giving up many touchdowns to running backs. Monangai had one. Vidal had one. And Josh Jacobs had one. Jonathan Taylor had 0. I do like, because obviously, like, they're going to score. James Cook is a good bet. Now, what about, I saw Josh Allen. We can look at that. I don't know. Quarterback, I know it's Josh Allen. He's one of the exceptions, but quarterback touchdown props I don't love. Plus money versus quarterbacks. They do give up 21st, so there is, get out of here. There. All right, let's see. Daniel Jones had 1. He's cashed this in 4 of his last 10, 5 of 11 overall this year. A couple multi-touchdown games in there, obviously. Yeah, I don't know about this one. He is very high on the run share, red zone run share. If you're going to take one there, I guess it would be Cook. Puka is due. Who are the Rams? The Panthers? All right, let's take a look at that then. Puka Nacua. Let's see. Puka. All right, we got to get some legs here. We have none so far. We have a couple that we are like leaning towards. We don't actually have a leg yet, so let's go ahead. Puka Nacua, anytime touchdown. Plus 109 on Novig. The Panthers, top 10, though. Not a good matchup. He's due, but it's not a great matchup. Jawan Jennings has 1. You see a lot of zeros there. 1 for Jennings, 1 for Chris Olave, 1 for Khalil Shakir, then a lot of zeros. So, no, I don't know. I get it's the Rams offense and it's different, but, again, we're trying to find the good matchups here. I don't think it's a great one, if I'm being honest. If you're mentioning the Kyle Pitts, you can just no. Nope. Not at all. Not doing that one. Bijan anytime touchdown. So Bijan, the Falcons are playing the Jets today. That could be a really good spot. Not gonna lie to you. The problem is like minus 143. Derrick Henry had 2, Henderson had 3. We'll add this one. I know the value is not great, but I mean he's a very good bet to get a touchdown in this game. Very good bet to get a touchdown. We'll add it for now, and if we find something better, we'll switch it out. But I think for now, it's a good one. All right, let's go through here. Let's see. I got to go back. There's a lot of them you guys gave me. Jackson Smith and the Jigba against the Vikings. I see a lot of Bucky Irvings. I see Kyren. Kyren Williams might not be a bad spot to look at because I know the Panthers defense versus wide receivers wasn't bad, but what about versus running backs? So Kyren, again, value is not great, but they're definitely bad. They give up more touchdowns to running backs than they do wide receivers. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey had 1, Bijan had 2, Tyler Jarrett 1, Josh Jacobs had 1, James Cook had 2. Yeah, we can add this one. I like Kyren. So we've got 2. The problem is that from a value standpoint, it's not going to be. But again, sometimes, guys, this is the biggest problem we see with parlays, and this is why a lot of people lose parlays, is that, and I guess we're looking at Novig. I think those are the best odds we're going to find on this. The problem with parlays, and it's I'm guilty of it. I've done it many times in the past. We get too caught up in the value of it. Oh, it's only plus this. My family, for example, they're very funny. My family will obviously, because they know I do this stuff for a living, they'll talk to me and be like, hey, make me a parlay. My friends, everybody does. It's the number one annoyance in my life is like, I'll get a text in the middle of the day, make me a parlay. Cook me something real quick. And I'll say, okay, let me make you a parlay. Yesterday, I had Friendsgiving with my friends, right? Make me a parlay. All right, well, here you go. 3-leg parlay plus 140. That's it? Plus 140? Well, do you want to hit the bet, or do you want me to give you a plus 900 that, by the grace of God, might hit, but more often than not, is not going to hit? So sometimes you got to sacrifice the play. So let's go ahead. We got to cut out some of these props here. Wilson. Purdy, McCaffrey, Judkins. These are all of our regular plays. Bijan's in there. Jalen Warren. Okay. So you parlay those two together. It's plus 208 for Kyron and Bijan. So, excuse me. Kyron and Bijan plus 208. That's what we got so far. We need one more leg. One more leg. We need one more. And then we'll end the stream. So we need one more leg here. Let's see. Shador Sanders anytime touchdowns go crazy. Jackson Dart, Ty Johnson, McConkey. Let's see what else we got. Jackson Smith. Let's see what that would look like. Because I know he's obviously a very good bet to score. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Anytime touchdown. Minus 102 on Novig. Versus wide receivers, though. Minnesota not giving up a lot of touchdowns. The data, as you can see here. Jameson Williams on November 2nd is the last player to score a touchdown against the Vikings. But what that does tell us, though, is they're giving up touchdowns somewhere. And we're going to find out where. Quarterbacks? No. Tight ends? No. The Vikings have been losing games, so where are they giving up touchdowns? We got to find it. And it's running backs. Manuel Wilson had 2. Monangai had 1. Justice Hill had 1. Montgomery had 1. This could be a K9 spot. Or it could be a Charbonnet spot. Their run defense has not been very good this year. So the question becomes, do we want to look at that? Or do you guys want something else? And you guys seem to have a lot of other plays here. Let's take a look. Jackson Dart. A lot of Dart. Minnesota blitzes a lot. Does Ev not love us anymore? Where he's traveling on vacation for the Thanksgiving holiday. So that is where Ev is. He's not going anywhere. He is away. I'm covering him for Monday Night Football this week, and I don't know. I know he's been doing some of the NBA videos this week, but he is on the other side of the country right now with his family for the holiday. So he is not around, or he's been around, but obviously not as much because of the holiday. But the guy's the hardest working man in the industry, so let's give him a little bit of credit as he goes away with his family. All right. Yeah, I understand that JSN's cooking, but you gotta look at the matchups here. Again, we're looking for the best plays, and that's a tough matchup. Rashid Shaheed, again, wide receivers versus that Vikings defense. I don't know. I know they've been cooking, but I think that Darnold's gonna have a big game. I just get concerned about, is that the best spot for us to tail? We could look at Ibuka. We could look at Ibuka hasn't scored in a hot minute. I know that for sure. But we can take a look at it. And Buka, like I said, hasn't scored in a... Oops, nope. Wrong button. All right, he hasn't scored in a hot second. So you're getting good value on it, plus 163. He hasn't scored since the Patriots game. He had a very hot start in terms of touchdowns. Now he's kind of quieted off a little bit. He had... What's that? 2, 3, 4. He had 5 touchdowns in the first 4 games. Since then, he's had 1. Versus wide receivers, Arizona, though, good defense. They're not giving up a lot of touchdowns to wide receivers. Although, Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington for the Jaguars both scored last week. Besides that, though, Jackson Smith did have 1, and Flurney had 1. Darnold struggles versus the blitz, though, Minnesota number 1. That's what I mean. It's not exactly Bucky Irving. All right, take a look at that. Bucky Irving. See, come on, we need that last leg. We need that last leg to go ahead and take us there. Bucky Irving, anytime touchdown. He hasn't played since... No. He hasn't played in 2 months. I'm not taking that. Apologies. I get the thought process, but he hasn't played in 2 months. I'm not taking a chance with that. You know what? You guys keep saying JSN, and I see a lot of Darnold talk. I know they struggle versus the blitz. I think we might go JSN. I know the matchup isn't great, but what other one can I look at here? You guys are throwing a lot of the same. 4 lots underdog teams won. So if you had to choose an underdog team to win, which team? Underdog team. That's a tough spot. I don't know, Keitho. I'd stay away from Bucky. Yeah, I'm not touching Bucky. That's a tough one. I don't know. I think the underdog spots happened already. Like, I think those were like the Cowboys. Like, those were the spots where they could have won. This slate today is a lot of like really good teams versus really bad teams. The Texans aren't a bad one. I don't hate that spot because I do think their defense is good enough. CJ Stroud factor scares me a bit. Come on, guys. We need one more leg, so I got to get going here. One more leg. One more. Give me one good leg. Go at A-Chain. McCaffrey. Let's see. I just think McCaffrey also is going to be probably too much juice on the play. Let's see. Minus 126. He's cashed in 7 of 10. The Browns versus running backs. Nope. We'll go A-Chain. How about A-Chain? Damn it. Wrong button. All right. I think we might go A-Chain here. What was the matchup in this one? Not bad. We have seen some running backs do it. CMC, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, definitely not Waller, Godwin, Woody Marks, Herbert. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do A-Chain. Screw it. So that's our parlay. So let's go ahead and plug that in, and we'll go ahead and see what the odds are. I think it's gonna be over. It's gonna be over 300, so it's gonna be worth it. Did I just clear all my picks out? Well, good thing I wrote them all down anyway, so we're fine. I think I just cleared all the picks. So we got to go find now that A-Chain prop. Shit. All right, A-Chain. What are the other two? Bijan. That was such a blunder on my part. I apologize for that. A-Chain, Bijan, and Kyren. So we're going all running backs here. It's a running back parlay, which I don't mind entirely. All right, so now we got it. So now we'll add to the bet slip. Raiders are dog shit. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. Okay. So 3-leg parlay on Novig. Plus 441. So Kyren Williams, Devon A-Chain, and Bijan. 3 running backs, 3-leg parlay, touchdowns, plus 441. Pretty good value. Pretty good value, if I'm being honest, for those 3 guys to score, which are all pretty good bets. Plus 441. Not bad. And again, you can kind of adjust that depending on the sports book you have. And actually, you can literally look over here. No, they don't show it on Novik, but if you look at let's see the other books. FanDuel has it for plus 423. Sorry, 390. DraftKings plus 408. So you can find it in a couple different sports books here, but you can see here DraftKings, FanDuel, Bet365. Obviously, Novik gives us the best odds available, but you can find it on a couple of different sports. But guys, I apologize. In a normal circumstance, I could probably stay on longer. Unfortunately, I do have a prior commitment, so I do have to get going here. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back next Sunday with another NFL player prop live stream. Next Sunday, we're going to go a little bit longer, although we did go over an hour today, so we did last a while. But that's it. I got to go. That's it for today. Thank you very much always for watching. Again, make sure to check out that promotion over at the Fade Me store now through December 2nd, up to 50% off. All the final plays, I'll post them in the pinned comment. I'll put a post separate on the website as well to go ahead and tail. That's it, guys. Hope you're all winners. Enjoy your NFL Sunday. We'll be back next time. Let's go ahead and make some money, guys. Have a good Sunday and enjoy your rest of your holiday weekend.